You are the person everyone calls when the world starts falling apart. Yet no one knows what to do when you are the one who finally breaks. You've built an entire identity out of being the reliable one, the low-maintenance professional who navigates chaos without leaving a footprint or making a sound.
This is the psychology of the invisible high achiever, a rare breed of individual who doesn't just succeed, but does so while remaining strategically out of sight. While others are busy posting about their latest promotion or their morning routine, you are likely the one who actually built the system they are bragging about. Yet you feel a deep, instinctive need to keep your head down. This isn't just humility. It is a sophisticated psychological defense mechanism forged in what researchers call a high-contingency environment. You learned early on that the less people knew about you, the safer you were.
To understand why you are this way, we have to look at the latchkey origins of your competence. Many invisible high achievers grew up in homes where they were regularly unsupervised or where the emotional weather was dangerously unpredictable. You didn't become self-reliant because you wanted to. You became self-reliant because your nervous system recorded a message that you couldn't always count on someone being there when you came home. This created a mindset where your brain learned to predict consequences and solve problems 3 steps ahead of everyone else just to survive. You were the child who could tell exactly how angry your mother was just by the sound of a kitchen cabinet slamming, or whether your father was sober by the sound of his car tires on the gravel.
As you entered adulthood, this survival tactic fused into your skin, transforming into a fierce loyalty to your own competence. You don't necessarily trust titles or authority. You only trust what you can fix with your own hands or solve with your own mind. This is why you never ask for help. Not because you're arrogant, but because for you, asking feels like admitting a total defeat of the self. You are the bridge generation of your workplace or family, holding the structure together while expecting nothing in return, often feeling invisible because in your worldview, being visible means being vulnerable.
But this level of mastery comes with a hidden, heavy price that most people never see. Because you are so over-aware, you walk into a room and instantly scan for hidden tensions, avoided glances, or shifts in breathing. Your brain is like an ultra-fine filter that automatically absorbs and feels everything more intensely than usual. Neuroscientists call this the overactivation of the default mode network, DMN, a state where your mind is constantly running a hidden marathon of analysis and interpretation, even when you're just having a cup of coffee. You aren't just participating in life, you are managing it like a high-risk project.
This creates a state of emotional hyper-responsibility. When a friend seems off, your first thought isn't, "I hope they're okay," but rather, "Did I cause this?" You've become a thermostat for everyone else's feelings because no one was regulating yours when you were young. You absorb other people's emotional weather as if it's always a forecast about you, making you the one who softens their voice and chooses careful words to calm the atmosphere, even as you drain your own emotional battery.
The most dangerous part of being the invisible high achiever is the conditional worth you've assigned to your own existence. You feel a physical sense of guilt when you rest, as if stillness itself is an unearned luxury, because you only feel valuable when you are being useful. This isn't productivity, it's a fawn response, an instinct to preemptively shrink yourself so that conflict becomes impossible before it starts. You apologize for things that aren't your fault, not out of politeness, but as a reflex that says, "I know I'm too much, please don't leave."
When someone offers you genuine kindness, you don't exhale, you tighten up. Care that arrives freely feels like a debt you haven't seen the bill for yet. Because warmth was inconsistent in your past,
your nervous system stops trusting it and registers care as something temporary, scheduled to be withdrawn. You've become extraordinary at giving, but receiving feels like something sitting in your hands that you don't quite know what to do with. This internal pressure eventually leads to a specific kind of dorsal vagal shutdown when you are finally hurt or overwhelmed. When the world asks too much, you don't argue or cry, you simply go quiet. This isn't a cold, calculated move. It is a biological freeze state. Physiologically, your muscles tense, and the part of your brain responsible for logic and language, the prefrontal cortex, literally disconnects from your emotional centers. Language gets locked. Even if there are thousands of thoughts screaming inside your head, you can't find the voice to turn them into words. You are using 100% of your energy just to hold yourself together against the force of an emotional storm. In these moments of silence, you are likely engaging in metacognition, thinking about your own thinking. You don't just feel an emotion. You monitor it, judge it, and dissect it until the natural presence of the feeling disappears. You might be able to describe your emotions with clinical precision, I guess I'm feeling anxious, without actually allowing yourself to feel them. This disconnection, known as alexithymia, is what happens when a child whose emotions were consistently ignored stops listening to their own body, because listening never produced relief. This pattern often makes you feel like a different person depending on who you are with. You develop an extraordinary, exhausting ability to become whatever the room needs, shifting your humor, your posture, and your opinions to remain safe. But the cost is that you might not know who you are when no one is watching. You live in the gap between the person you sense you are and the role you've actually built. The path forward for the invisible high achiever isn't to become less capable, but to stop carrying the world's equations on your own shoulders. You must realize that your internal compass is a record of how you were built, not evidence of what is wrong with you. Every year of endurance and every job that didn't fit was actually a stress test for a foundation that will eventually hold. You need to start building safe exits for your emotions. Instead of going completely silent and leaving others confused, try a simple bridge. My mind feels stuck right now, and I can't find the words yet. I need some time alone, but I promise I'll come back. This gives you the space to defrost your emotions while reassuring your nervous system that you aren't being abandoned. Remember, your competence is a foundation, but you don't have to live your entire life as a bridge for others to walk across without ever checking to see if you need repair. True strength isn't just about being the most valuable person in a crisis. It's about learning to exist in the room when there is no crisis at all. You cannot turn off the ceiling light in your mind, but you can change its intensity from a sharp laser that exposes every flaw into a warm candle that is gentle enough to warm yourself as well. If this spoke to the parts of you that you usually keep hidden, please subscribe and share your story in the comments. Sometimes one person's story is exactly what another needs to hear to feel less alone. One day, you will find people who can sit with you in your silence without fear, understanding that it isn't a rejection, but an invitation to a deeper kind of truth.